everyone, welcome to the channel for new battle report. So we have game number 4 of Bellumenacum. As a reminder, our Saturday wasn't so good. We basically were capped 2 times by top team and we capped 1 time, so we are quite below on the table. We play another team that's quite below on the table, so we're trying to climb back the table and get some good games on this Sunday morning. I was playing against Carl, who was also playing Infernal Dwarves. So basically we have a mirror match to start the Sunday. You know already my list. This was his list, so he has basically 5 blocks with 3 gunnery team in them, a big block of vassal levies with spear and shield. He has then, as a magic, an adept of witchcraft with the mimic cloak. He has an adept of Nezibkesh, who is going to be the engineer, who has some defensive stuff, and then he has his BSB, who is also well staffed. Regarding primary, secondary, we played secure target, so the 2 point where you need to have scoring unit, we played on the diagonal, and regarding secondary objective, we got the same, which was for me to kill his prophet, and for him was to kill my Kadim Titan. Spell selection, you have below both spells, so he has hitting on 2 up, he has a weakness range damage, random move, so very strong spell, and then the pyro spell, not so useful in this matchup, fireball, pyro flow, and hereditary. We move on matchup analysis. So he has a lot of infantry, large unit, but I felt that I have a range damage advantage. Basically the idea is that I have a lot of pistols in combination with the NAFTA. It could be hard for him to basically get to get into zone without suffering too much casualties basically. So I will try to target his shooting unit. I feel that we are in a matchup where infantry could be shooting at themselves rather than charging, because the one that's going to be receiving the charge will have the opportunity to have counter charge, and as you saw, he hasn't any chaff. I have only 1 chaff, so it's not going to be so easy to engage the close combat, so it might be a shooting combat until we go then into fight when one or the other feel he has done enough casualties to engage. I would be happy to play second. I think first of all to avoid the rocket battery with Kadim family, and second of all to also optimize the scoring unit. Basically on secure target, if you play second, you can decide or not whether or not you need to commit those scoring unit, whether it's needed or not. You can count and adjust your play with the scoring unit depending on what your opponent did. So I think it's an advantage here to play second. And yeah, for me, I think the key will be to find a way to attack with the Kadim that have higher charge range, higher mobility. So that could be for me the key in this matchup. Estimation equal, yeah, it's a mirror matchup. Deployment wise, we exchanged a couple of drops and then my opponent elected to drop for first turn. As you can see, he hasn't so many drops. So he went with Immortal here in the center. We have 1 gunnery team here. We have here another gunnery team within Blunderbuss, and then we have the Flintlock. And on the top of the map, we have Vassal Levies. Here are the 2 points for the secure target. Obviously, since the rocket battery are bottom of the table, I went with Kadim family on the opposite side. Then I have Immortal, my shooting base, which is basically the NAFTA thrower together with the Citadel Guard, who are 8 wide to generate a maximum amount of pistol shooting. And then below I went with a small scoring unit in case I need to use it for chaff purposes, because I felt this is going to be a strong flank, or for scoring purposes basically. Let's start. So he pushed towards me turn 1, everything pushed a bit forward. He dispelled hereditary and he got nothing significant in magic. Shooting, he killed 3. Choke enforcer, here I felt I exposed my enforcer a bit too much. They could have stayed in the back early on and then moved forward later in the game. So I think it wasn't needed at all to use the enforcer that way. There could be also an argument to put them here high on the table, try to generate a flanking maneuver or play for the secondary, so that could have been also an option, but I felt I could need them as chaff potentially with those blocks pushing at me. Let's move on to my turn 1. So I move away with the enforcer, thinking I don't want to lose them, and I get ready to shoot him basically. I'm able to get the Titan out of line of sight and push towards the Vassal Levies and be in the forest, so he would have no ranks, so that wouldn't be a good combat for him. I get the ward save on the bottom table Citadel Guard, and then in shooting I will kill 4 Blunderbuss and 2 Immortal this round. His turn 2, he pushed hard at me, which I think somehow makes sense because he has bigger block and he feels that he loses from from range, but you will see I think it's not the perfect setup because as you can see this unit is behind, so he cannot really support it. He was I think too far behind with this unit that wasn't able to push quickly enough to provide support basically. So that's going to be an issue for him definitely. We have those Immortal covering here the Kadim family to avoid any dangerous combat. In the magic phase, also worth mentioning, he lost a couple of blunderbuss in the DTs, so that wasn't too nice for him. He got Hereditary on my Citadel Guard. I dispel random move, 5 dice against my 6 dice. I'm able to dispel it. He got Sword Luck, so hit on 2 up on the Kadim Titan in case I would charge his Vassal, and a Rocket Battery managed to kill 2 Citadel Guard, but I think no matter what I wouldn't charge into the Vassal now because the Immortal are covering the angle, so that would be way too dangerous for me. Let's move on to my turn. So I managed to do 2 kind of chaffing maneuvers. So here I get distracting and I'm able to shoot at those Immortal, and here I'm chaffing this unit with the other unit of Citadel Guard with pistols. So basically those 1-1 combat I feel totally safe because on the one with the wall I have the counter charge of my Immortal in the flank in case he would charge, so I think that's way too dangerous, and also Incarnate ready to charge if I need to. And on the other one, I think he lost too many casualties to engage me. I have pistols, spear, I would attack before him. So I think that's a problem. Here I start to do a maneuver because I feel that I don't need them. Bottom of the table, I'm quite safe now that I did enough casualties. Here I push up the table to tempt it to charge me. I'm not sure it's a good move because obviously, yeah, it's a combat that he can buff himself. It's out of the forest, he get the charge and a lot of combat res. So I'm not sure that was the wisest idea to do that. And I don't have any counter charge setup, so not sure that was so great, to be honest. Magic phase, I get End of Heaven in. I also got +1 to hit on the pistol unit, so that was really nice. Shooting, since I think the combat against Blunderbuss is already won, I will focus all my shooting on the Immortal and manage to kill a total of 8 between the NAFTA and all the pistol shots, so that's quite good. Obviously the NAFTA are not so good against his unit because I need to reroll to wound, so that's obviously not so enjoyable with a 3-up armor save, but the pistol do a bit more damage. His turn 3 is still elected to charge, thinking he could do some damage and maybe get me with the flintlock unit. Those guys didn't charge and they just stay in front, and he tried to get, basically tempt me to charge him, to be stubborn and then get some counter charge. That's basically his idea. So we saw that goes here, doesn't charge me, look at me, and those guys also are very annoyed by the Titan, which I think in hindsight it doesn't need to be so afraid of the Titan, to be honest. Magic phase, he gets, what did he get? Yeah, stand and shoot, I killed like 5 blunderbuss, so I did a lot of damage because I had also, I think, somewhere the +1 to hit. He got random move on the Titan, so I will need to move away. Pyro flow failed. Rocket battery, he shot at my NAFTA, which was interesting with the Immortal, and managed to do 4 wounds. And then close combat is going to lose by 5 and is going to hold that check with the blunderbuss, so he's still here. My turn 3, I reform to chaff the Immortal, do the same, shoot them again. So I'm feeling that's okay, and here I'm too far away for the charge. I felt if I would charge into the combat, that's a risk that he would hold and then could just counter charge me, and that could be potentially dangerous. So let's not take any risk and just shoot him, chaff him, and be ready for my own counter charge in case he wants to charge, basically. Titan has to move away due to random move, because he was covering with a counter charge in case I would go into the Vassal. Magic phase, I get ward save on my Citadel Guard in facing, I think, the Immortal, no, the bottom Citadel Guard that could be charged by the flintlock, so that was the idea. I got a couple of shots on Immortal, and then he breaks from combat, and I just reform his turn. That's the end of the turn, basically. His turn, despite the odds, he decided to charge me, so I have here the counter charge setup. So I'm not too afraid by that. What else? We have, yeah, he pushed a bit forward, nothing too crazy, magic phase and shooting. So he's going to get fail hereditary, but he gets random move this time on the Incarnate, so I will need to move away with Incarnate this time. He kills some, I think with flintlock, like 6 Citadel Guard bottom, and Immortal we're going to hold. My turn, I counter charge into the combat here. Here I'm still just shooting, going to shoot him. Here I'm out of line of sight, so that's easy. Here I come to score, but the primary is already mine because I had each turn this one, and I was contesting the bottom one with the Citadel, so that's perfect. Here I take again a position in the forest where he cannot charge me. Magic phase. Yeah, I kill some Citadel Guard with shooting basically. I get another point for the scoring. He's turn 5. He elected not to charge with the flintlock. Look at me, those guys also elected not to charge. And then he 5 dice random move. I dispel it, and then he got hit on 2+ against the Titan here. So yeah, that's how it is. My turn. Yeah, since I was a bit frustrated with the Titan, I was thinking, okay, it's out of the bubble, so it's a terror check on the 7. Then it's going to be a steadfast check on the 7. Yeah, he can do some wounds, but still, it's a 500 point monster against a unit of 390 vassal, so that should be fine. It's rank 3 vassal. I know +1 to wound, but they are too far away from the leadership and from the battle focus. That should be fine. So I elected to charge. He hold the terror check. Other than that, yeah, I moved my Immortal bit forward, move the pistol forward, everything ready basically to get the last couple of points. In the magic phase, I get ward save somewhere, also flaming sword. I shoot at Immortal, kill some Citadel. Close combat, he hold on a 7. Yeah, basically the odds are not that bad for him. It's between 2 and 3 wounds. This time he managed to do 3 wounds. So it's 15 attack, 2+, 5 up. Then I have a 6 and a 5, I think. So yeah, I think what I should have done is dispelling instead of the random move. Dispelling the random move instead of the hitting on 2+, because I think hitting on 2+ is very dangerous for me. It changed from like 15 attacks goes to 13 hits. Instead it's like 7-8 hits, so it's completely different. So I think it's definitely more risky for me to let that go, and in case random move doesn't reach the target, then I can still move away. I think it's, no matter what, wrong to go in this combat. Let's be honest. His last turn, nothing crazy. Close combat, going to manage to do another 3 wound. We're going to have a draw this time. And the Titan is here sitting on 1 wound, is going to die next turn. So that's so sad for me. My last turn, I get a couple of charge, going to get those 2 units. And the Titan is going to get killed by the vassal levies, giving away the juicy secondary objective, which is going to save him 1 point. So 19 to 1. What can we say? So overall, on a macro level, I was happy to play second. I think that worked quite well. His flintlock were a bit too slow to help his aggression. I think it's not wrong to go aggressively forward, but he needs all his block combined to put some pressure on my line. And I think here those 1-1 combat weren't going to be successful, and we saw how that go. Yeah, I found some good counter to his central push with those Citadel chaffing and shooting. That's obviously the big issue for him in this matchup. Kadim shouldn't have charge. Yeah, I think that's the sad reality of this monster in this version 3.0. Basically, you cannot go into out of bubble vassal levies because they have a good chance of killing you. So I think, considering the fact that it was the secondary objective and worth less point than me, should have just moved away, and that was 20-0 basically. So didn't make sense to get that charge, but yeah, I was just too frustrated to run to try to catch those vassals. And then when finally have the occasion to do it, I see that it was the wrong decision. Didn't matter much, to be honest. And yeah, random move and sword luck caused me some issue, obviously. It went really well. We got 4 solid wins, so it was enough for us to cap. So we are on 2 cap and 2 time be capped. So we'll see last round we are concretely middle of the table, playing against another Swiss team this time. Some friends from ETC team are in the team, so looking forward to face them and get a good final round in this tournament. Guys, thanks a lot for watching, and talk to you soon on the channel for game number 5. Goodbye.